What is going on, everyone? This is your boy the Bengal Dragon. Make sure to hit that like, subscribe and bell notification buttons, as all your support really helps this legally blind YouTuber remain motivated to continue making many videos in this channel, and through the YouTube algorithm would really help this channel grow. People, God of War released a new trailer for their upcoming game, and given the fact that I have continually stated that God of War 2018 and Ragnarok are perhaps the best game story ever told that I have come across, do you think I would not make a video about this? Honestly, when I first saw the trailer, this was my honest reaction. Wait a minute. Oh my god!
Find your way home. You are free.
Oh my god, that's God of War! That's that freaking God of War! Yes, take that, all you stupid Capcom simpy wannabe idiots! Addicted to Resident Evil. Yeah, good thing there was no, what was that, Code Veronica remake or RE0 remake? Good thing there was none of that over here, because they would have been drowned out by God of War. So we basically see that this game is from the perspective of Kratos' dead wife, Faye, which makes sense. This is Kratos' wife. This is the woman that actually means a lot to this person. Okay? And the game starts with a quote from Kratos telling you that he is going to be present in the narrative of the game for a long time. Yes, this is Kratos' wife, and considering the events of God of War 2018 and God of War Ragnarok, to quote something from the YouTuber Fat Brett, the narrative presence, there was a narrative presence of Faye in both God of War 2018 and God of War Ragnarok. So for them to make a game about Faye makes complete narrative sense. And in the trailer, we actually see the first name, the first word Faye says was Kratos.
Kratos!
As if it's drilling into you that yes, Kratos is related to Faye and is going to be in the narrative of this game from time to time, over and over again. But we also see the cutscene and the gameplay, and yes, I am so looking forward to it, because honestly, graphically this looks good. The gameplay and the combat, it looks good. And the story, okay, we see Sekhmet. Sekhmet is the Egyptian goddess of war. Bagse is from Mongolian mythology. Ru is from European mythology. Frank the Cube is probably from The Simpsons.
Your car has been crushed into a cube. You have 30 minutes to move your cube. Hello, Mr. Burns' office.
Is it about my cube?
The gameplay itself looks very good, okay? And also, given that they are in Everywind, okay? Y is a giantess. Faye is a giantess. Faye is not a goddess. Y is a giantess in the afterlife of the gods, and Y is an Egyptian goddess of war and a Mongolian deity of Mongolian myth in the afterlife of the gods. People, these are very, very interesting plot points. This attempt of creating a realm where you find an intersection and engagement of different mythological creatures from different pantheons. People, the implications is astounding. Forget about Egypt and Mongolia. What about Greece? There is a very good chance we can see Zeus there, we can see Helios there, we can see Poseidon there, we can see Hermes there, we can see even Ares, the original god of war. We can see Ares there as well, coming toe to toe with Faye, with the giantess who was strong enough to beat Thor, a killer of giants, as established by the lore of God of War Ragnarok. People, these are powerhouses colliding, waiting to happen. I can't tell you how excited I am about this game. The gameplay once again looks awesome if there is accessibility. Otherwise, for me, this game is pointless as a gamer. However, I did come across something, and my friend Urza Titania Wins indicated to me that stay away from the God of War fanbase at the moment because they're very toxic or something along those lines. I first thought it's not possible. It's not possible. I thought that God of War fans had a bit more sense. But I looked into it, and sure enough, there are stupid complaints. Let's address some of them. This game being about Faye, that's a problem for some people. Faye has a narrative presence, a very strong narrative presence in both God of War 2018 and God of War Ragnarok. She is portrayed as someone very kind, someone who has the ability to predict the future, and someone who is a very strong warrior who went toe to toe with Kratos, who defeated Thor. This game has been building up Faye's character and personality for so long. And a game about that character who is Kratos' wife and the mother of Atreus. That is a problem for you guys? No, it makes no sense. Because God of War 2018 and Ragnarok kept telling you, this might come, this might come. There is not a single piece of evidence apart from a few runes, a few symbols and pictures here and there that it is going to take place in Egypt. There's hardly anything. The build-up for Faye showing up is much more. If you guys didn't see it, then that's a you problem. And go back to 2018. Go back to 2018. How does this game start? This game starts with Faye's funeral, underscoring the fact that no matter what Kratos and Atreus do in the entire game, at the back of their minds, Faye's narrative presence will always be there. And in 2018, Atreus kept saying, if mother were here this, if mother were here that. And like I said, she beat Thor. She is known to be very kind. I mean, Sindri had a crush on her and gave her a gift of the Leviathan axe for her benevolence and kindness. And on top of that, how did Valhalla end? Valhalla ended with Kratos becoming the god of hope for the Norse realm, a benevolent god of war for the Norse realm. He just got the position. These predictions and desires about God of War Egypt, when God of War Valhalla, the Valhalla DLC, ended on such an important note where Kratos just got his new duties, makes no sense. Of course this game was going to be about Faye. It was either going to be about Faye or Atreus. So what on earth did something make God of War fans believe that Kratos would be leaving everything just as he got this position and going to Egypt? What, is it because Egypt Airlines has cheaper flight rates comparatively? And God of War Kratos, he got tired of walking? Next point, the name of the game? Really? Because I've heard this complaint that, oh no, it's called a God of War game. It should have been called Laufey, a God of War story. Really? When Metal Gear Solid 3 was about Big Boss, he had a narrative presence in the first two games. Metal Gear Solid 3 was not called Big Boss, a Metal Gear story. That was not a problem. Same thing with Devil May Cry 4. They did not call it Nero, a Devil May Cry story. Ninja Gaiden 4. Same thing. Not Yakumo, a Ninja Gaiden story. None of these were problems. If I were to use this logic, then God of War is a title. The game could have had nothing to do with Kratos and only to do with Tyr, the Norse God of War, and call that God of War. If I were to use this name problem logic, then a God of War game based solely on Tyr with no presence of Kratos at all should not be a problem. But we all know it would have been a problem because God of War is associated with Kratos. And anything God of War related has to connect to Kratos. And God of War Laufey does. That is Kratos' wife. One of the most important people in Kratos' life. So much so that the events of 2018, almost all of it was done to fulfill Faye's last wish. Okay? Faye's dying wish. So important that in the primary ending of God of War Ragnarok, that portrait of Kratos being worshipped as a god of benevolence portrayed by Faye nearly brought a tear to Kratos' eyes of all people. A game about that woman where Kratos still is there in the narrative. Okay, the trailer showed you Faye gets powers when she thinks about what Kratos said. Okay, and in this scene, Kratos pulls up Faye. The game is telling you by the trailer, Kratos is gonna be there. Much more of him. But this game is trying to tell the story of Faye. That is a bad thing? Absolutely not! And besides, you had Kratos for 8 straight games. Can you let him take a back seat? Even in Metal Gear Revengeance, Solid Snake took a back seat. It was about Raiden. And the title of the game is God of War. It is not Kratos, a God of War story. And besides, if you want to go by this logic again, okay, that, oh no, it's God of War, Kratos has to be in all of it. No. That's not how it works. Because in Ragnarok, a sizable portion of this game was not about Kratos. It was about Odin and Thor. It was about Thor's family issues. Now, how they executed it, how they tied this in to Kratos and Atreus, that was a thing of such beauty that it made God of War Ragnarok the greatest game story of all time. Next problem. The trailer had a lot of cutscenes. Really? Have you never played a God of War game before? Almost every single God of War game starts out this way. Some gameplay, a lot of cutscenes, and then when the cutscenes are relatively diminished, then you get much more of gameplay. Okay? This has been the formula since 2005. So why is this a problem now? Once again, invalid reason. All the reasons I mentioned, I have demonstrated invalid reasons. And yes, there are those who believe that this is a feminist God of War game. Just because there is a woman. Not even taking into consideration that the woman is someone who is Kratos' wife, who is a fierce warrior of her own right. And to each and every one of them, ladies and gentlemen, do not listen to anyone who says that God of War Laufey, just based off the trailer, is a feminist God of War. Do not listen to them. These are echo chamber people. Okay? You heard so much about left echo chamber people. These who say that God of War is a feminist God of War just because it is based on Kratos' wife. Most likely these are the echo chamber people on the right. You do not listen to echo chamber people of any side, left or right. Needless to say, this whole notion that God of War Laufey is a feminist God of War is completely wrong, and there is no validity to any of the argument to those who claim that this is a feminist God of War. And I'm sorry, I have to digress a little bit here. If you are a sexist person, please kindly get off my channel, hit the unsubscribe button, and block this channel. I don't want anything to do with you. Please, if you are a sexist person, I do not want anything to do with you. But getting back to the complaints, so far, the only complaint that I have come across, which I will acknowledge could be a source of concern, is the fact that one of the writers of this game is someone who worked at IGN. I don't have a problem with this person being a woman or whatever, with their gender or gender identity. I do have an issue with this person being employed by IGN. But I'm still going to give it a chance, people. God of War 2018 and Ragnarok and the Valhalla DLC were all awesome based on the story. And the person directing this, I believe Ariel Lawrence or something, okay, she was there since God of War 2. Okay, she was there when God of War made the transition from the Greek mythology to the Norse mythology. Okay, and Cory Barlog is still gonna be involved, people. And God of War has a very good track record when it comes to storytelling. Okay, especially for those who understand the story God of War is trying to say. Okay, let us have faith in this game. Okay, people. If this game story is garbage, believe me, I will be one of the first people to rip this game a new one. Okay, because I'm such a huge God of War fan. But given what I have seen and given the fact that God of War has an amazing track record, I don't even understand why there are complaints. I'm really looking forward to this. And to those who have the problem with the gelatinous cube, people, did you not have a problem with the talking squirrel? Me personally, I had a problem with the talking squirrel, and I never said that God of War Ragnarok was a perfect game story, but the good points were so good that it overshadowed the bad. Okay, and once again, going back to the Metal Gear argument, Metal Gear Solid had Big Boss's narrative presence since MGS1.
They're demanding that the government turn over the remains of Big Boss.
You and I are both the last surviving sons of Big Boss.
There was a man who said he was my father.
Where is he?
Dead. By my own hand. Big Boss.
What? Big Boss? I had no idea.
So you're the boss around here.
No, not just around here. I'm the boss to surpass Big Boss himself.
And he later showed up in MGS3. This was not a problem. So when the same thing happens in God of War in the new era, where there's a narrative presence of Faye in God of War 2018 and God of War Ragnarok, and then the third game is about Faye, that's a problem because Faye is a woman? I'm sorry, that is a very degenerate way of thinking. So to conclude, this outrage is absolutely ridiculous. The story makes sense. In fact, now I want to know how Sekhmet and Baksay got there, along with Rue and Frank and even Faye, when Faye is not even a goddess. Also, how there is another mask. That is what's interesting to me, on top of watching everything from Faye's perspective. So, without playing the game, without knowing the full story, if you have a problem just because Faye is a woman, then I don't know what to say, people. I really don't. And please don't bring this up that, oh no, that's not what people wanted. People wanted God of War original trilogy remaster. I'm like, listen. People did not even ask for Fallout 3 to change their format, let alone Fallout 3 moving out of California and moving to the East Coast. No one asked for that. They did it anyways. It worked. When Resident Evil 4 came out, no one said that, oh no, Leon should not go to Spain. It should not be about Leon. It should be about something else. And they should not change the format. No. They did it anyways. It worked. You know what's important? Execution. If it is executed right, it will work. Because believe me, a very good amount of people wanted a sequel to Final Fantasy X. When it came out, all of them started facepalming. Why? Because the story and the game was stupid, on top of horrible execution. And I know there are people who said they will not be purchasing this game on release day due to preventative pricing. And I agree with them. I just hope they showed an identical consistency in behavior when Resident Evil 9 came out. I hope they had the same excuse then, if they call themselves huge God of War fans. And if they don't like it, you know what? They don't like it. At the moment, if they don't like it, they don't like it. And people's likes and dislikes change. Not everything is consistent. Anyways, that's my quick video thoughts about the whole matter, God of War LaufeyThoughtS. I'm super excited for it. And also about the complaints that are mostly seen online. Let me know your thoughts. This is your boy, the Bengal Dragon, signing out.